Now welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
All right, so we may have some new news for
New
the
news.
Mandalorian and Grogu movie that's coming, of course, next year.
Next year, yeah.
It feels weird to be able to just say next year now.
I know, it's nice. Isn't
Next
it?
year.
Hey, we have a Star Wars movie next year for the first time in many, many years.
A year and a half.
Unless they delay it or something goes wrong.
Don't even.
I know.
No. So this is coming to us through a couple different sources, sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah,
okay.
Bespin Bulletin put out an article, but apparently this comes from Christian Harloff from his YouTube that he has a show. Very popular, Star
I
Wars
remember
and
him
stuff.
doing Jedi Council from
He
back
used
in
to
the
do
day.
Jedi
Yeah.
Council. He
They
even had
answered one of your questions
I was really excited.
like almost 10 years ago at this point, right? That was like Force Awakens time.
Yeah, one of my questions was on there, but they didn't read it right and misinterpreted what I was trying to say.
They did, yeah.
Because I was like, oh, it's my question. And I was like, wait, they didn't understand what I was asking.
And yet they selected it anyway.
They selected it and it made me sound stupid because they read it wrong.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like, do you not notice there was like a comma and they like just lumped the entire thing together? I'm like, no, dumb. I was so mad.
You were. You were excited until you heard the answer and like, no, that's not what
I'm like,
I
that
asked.
wasn't the question.
Yeah.
Duh.
But anyway, we're way off topic.
Well, he has a planet named after him. Wasn't it like
Harloff
Harloff Minor?
Yeah, from Bloodline, the book.
The book.
Yeah.
Okay, so on his YouTube show, he says that Embo, who was a bounty hunter that was in the Star Wars animated Clone Wars show, he was actually one of my
Embo.
favorite bounty hunters. He was really cool. He has a dog.
He's cool. Yeah.
Neat hat.
Exactly.
I'm sure you've got a picture of him.
Yeah, I'll throw the picture on screen if you don't remember.
That he is actually due to appear in the next live-action Star Wars theatrical release, which would be The Mandalorian and Grogu. Dave Filoni is apparently the voice of Embo in the live action, as he was the voice of Embo in the animated show as well.
I remember Embo talking too much is the funny part.
It's like, will Trapper Wolf be in it and Embo? Because that's...
Yeah, crossing realities here or something.
It's too much. It's too much. But not only is Embo going to be featured in it, he is supposed to be a villain in it.
Okay.
I never saw Embo as really a villain. He's a bounty hunter.
Not a villain necessarily, no.
Mm-hmm. Harloff is also the one, just so everyone knows, who revealed that Rota the Hutt,
Rata the Hutt, yeah.
Rata the Hutt, was going to be a prominent role in the movie, and then he's supposed to be buff or something.
So, we believe this? I don't know. They
this
both...
is going really Clone Wars-y, yeah.
It is going real Clone Wars, and I love Clone Wars. Don't get me wrong, but like,
if this was
you're
a
going
Dave
real
Filoni, but
Clone
this
Wars-y.
isn't Dave Filoni's project. This is Jon Favreau's project, which is why it's a little more confusing to me. Because if Dave Filoni was in total control, I'd be like, oh yeah, sure. But it's not.
You don't need to do this, I think, is the thing, right? Like, we don't need to go like, again, love Clone Wars, but like, don't go like, oh, it's Clone Wars cameo fest.
Well, what Christian Harloff believes is going to happen is that Din and Grogu are hired to rescue a kidnapped Rata again.
Okay.
And on the flip side, Embo is supposed to be like a main villain that he's been hired to kill him. Well, the belief is that Embo is hired by some of the other Hutts, possibly the twins from Book of Boba Fett. So, yeah, it's really confusing. They're saying, like, he's not sure now if he knows that the Hutts are supposedly hiring one of them, but they're not sure now if it's, were they hiring Embo to kill Rota, or are they hiring Din to protect him, or if it was the Republic. Nobody knows for sure what's going on.
Are they really going to make this the plot of the movie? Mm-hmm. Because this is so... like
That's why I think the Republic hires him, though, because I think Zeb is supposed to come in and help Din at one point.
Well, that's been my guess all along, that the Republic is going to hire Din to go and retrieve something or somebody, and then he finds out, oh, the Empire is really... Thrawn's back, they're building up, we got a problem here, and he has to get that information
maybe the twins
back.
are still working with the remnants of the Empire, and they want to get rid of the stray Huttling. Like, maybe he's not a bad Hutt.
Oh.
I don't know.
They're not all bad Hutts. I mean, they're not like the evil species
not like
necessarily. Pizza the Hutt.
Pizza the Hutt.
He ate himself to death. Yeah. Tragic.
It was tragic. I'm glad that you could recognize how tragic that is.
It was very tragic, yes.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, so that's what's going on in the new
I don't
information on Mando.
I gotta say,
I could see Embo being in it.
Sure.
Because, he's obscure enough that just introducing him, he looks really cool. He's got a great aesthetic.
Yeah.
I could see them putting Embo in it. They don't have to have any references to the Clone Wars to have Embo as another bounty hunter.
Why would we reference something that happened like 35 years ago anyway for the character, necessarily? Like, it wouldn't be like, hey, I was a bounty hunter during the Clone Wars. Like, okay, that was a long time ago.
Good for you.
I don't know. This seems very Clone Wars heavy. And I don't know why you would do that.
I mean, I guess...
Make new characters. Don't have
we're
the
even
show
leaning back
be...
on the Empire.
Well, yeah, I know, but that's one thing though, because you do want to capture that outside audience, right? Because there is that certain group who will see TIE fighters and stormtroopers and go, "Ooh, Empire."
But is this their plan for the movies, to bring everybody in? Look, it's the Empire, old school stuff. Now you've got the regular audience.
But that's going to be just a hodgepodge.
Then they go, no, that's like the regular audience. They go, oh look, we've got like this cool looking guy who reminds me of Boba Fett, and look, there's the Empire. Looks cool. Then you get the people who are like, we've been watching Disney Plus, we watch Mandalorian. Then you get people who are like, well, I watched is that Embo?
Then you're trying to engineer something instead of tell a story.
That's what worries me.
Yeah, well, that worries me too.
The more I hear, the more it's engineered to include everything.
Yeah, plus, I don't know if people want story. I mean, not that I think it's going to be bad because of this, but you're going to have those people go, why are there stormtroopers again? Why are there TIE fighters again? Didn't they do that in the sequels too?
See, but if you watched the Mandalorian show, you'll understand that there's still a remnant.
But if you didn't, you have... I mean, part of me understands you do have to try to capture as many people as you can. I certainly understand that.
People are going to go see it who don't even understand when this takes place because the Empire is in there.
It's the same thing when Rogue One came out, and I had people literally... I'm not an exaggeration, people asking me, why did they make another Death Star? And I'm like, well, that's the first Death Star. And then it's like, boo, you see the mind blowing, like, oh, I get it now.
But
like, how did you not get it?
But they always make Death Stars. I mean, the sequel trilogy was another Death Star.
It was bigger than the others, though. Like they literally had to show you, like, look, this one's so much bigger than the other two. Like, oh, God.
So, I mean, I honestly don't know what I think involving this. I mean, is it too much Clone Wars? Is it too much rando reference?
The thing is, it's not necessarily a reference if you don't know it's a reference. So if you don't know Embo from Clone Wars, you're going to think he's a new character.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a weird thing because it's kind of like, I understand, like, you want to use characters people know because it gets them excited to see Embo. And at the same time, new fans or people who don't know are going to be like, oh, it's a new character. So it works and works, right?
I'm totally fine with Embo being in it, but I don't want him described as the main villain because once you show me the Empire is in the movie, I'm like, well, there's the main villain. Yeah. Why would a bounty hunter, why would Embo be the main villain when you've got Imperial remnants?
I think that's why I'm very
skeptical. They should be the big threat. Like I said, Embo in it, great, cool. I always liked Embo.
Everybody likes Embo.
I like Latz Razi.
You all love Latz Razi.
I know, you have to put a picture of her up because she's in like a very small amount of episodes, but I was enamored. I think she's awesome. But,
yes, I think you want
to Embo is one of my but Embo is one of my top favorite bounty hunters. I've always enjoyed Embo.
All the bounty hunters are cool. There's very few bounty hunters that are bad. Reminds
me of that summon from Final Fantasy, Yojimbo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where he's got the little dog just like Embo does, and you pay him money and he'll either attack with like the swords or the dog or So I like Embo being in this. I would love to see live action Embo. I don't
But we
want
got
him
live
to be
action
the main...
Cad Bane too. And Cad Bane is my favorite bounty hunter and there was something
He was a bad guy, so he couldn't be my favorite.
But no, I've always loved Cad Bane. He's been my
Cad Bane's awesome, but I think he wasn't as awesome as he used to be.
No, I remember when you bought me a Cad Bane action figure once, and that's when I knew it was love. Because this was years ago at this point, many years ago. You bought this. I was like, at Mall
when
of America.
When you found out I was a Star Wars fan before you.
You went to Mall of America. Yes. You went to Mall of America, and you're like, I got you a gift. I'm like, okay. It's a Cad Bane action figure. I'm like, God, how do you know these things about me? How do you know me so well?
No, but that's the funniest story is, at one point you were concerned that I only liked Star Wars as much as I said I liked Star Wars because I was dating you. And you're like, well, you know,
you're gonna
is
say
she
that
just saying she likes Star Wars because she knows I like Star Wars? And then you like saw like a picture of my bedroom from when I was in me in my bedroom when I was in high school.
Yes.
And on my wall, what was that?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi posted. Young
Ewan.
Yeah.
No, I
you
know
knew.
We've told this story before, and the one where how I knew, like, because when we first got to know each other, and this is a long time ago, which is sad because of what the card is going to say that I'm about to talk about, but you got me a birthday card. You didn't know I liked Star Wars because I didn't want to, you don't want to unpack that onto somebody like that.
No,
especially when you're not sure how they're going to take
it. Back in the day when you didn't tell people you liked anime.
Well, that's a different story. Now we're getting into...
No, we're not talking your story. That's just something you didn't do way back in the day.
Yeah, okay. But no, you got me a birthday card, not knowing I had any love for Star Wars at all. I had never mentioned it, and it was a Star Wars card that simply said, a long time ago, you were born. And mind you, this was a long time ago already, so...
It was just funny. I liked the card.
And that's when I started to disclose that, you know what? I'm actually a pretty big Star Wars fan.
And I was like, well, I know Star Wars.
I'm
I like
something of
Star
a
Wars.
Star Wars fan myself.
And you're like, I don't believe you. And then you saw like this picture. You're like, oh god, she
Oh,
had
wow,
an
you're a
Obi-Wan
bigger fan than
Kenobi
I
poster
am.
on her wall next to her Sailor Moon wall calendar. Yes, I did.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
All right, I think
we're
probably
done.
We're done.
Way on. This
we're
isn't
off
the news
topic
anymore. This
entirely.
is Life with Thor and Naboo. But anyway, that is going to be all we got for this time. Now it is your turn to take to the comments below. Tell us what you think of any and all of today's news or our wacky stories. And let's talk some Star Wars. And so until next time, thanks for watching.